Welcome everyone. Today I want to talk about the friction that's happening between IOHK and Charles Hoskinson and the Cardano Foundation. While we don't have all too many details, I'm just going to speak on what I know now and some of my thoughts. Rick released a great video. I'm going to link that below. But I only have a few thoughts about this at the moment. When more information presents itself, maybe I'll make subsequent videos. First of all, I want to preface this is if these are the problems that we're having now, I think that this is a very good sign because first of all, it's very early in the cryptocurrency, but also I think that these are very minute problems that could be solved with management changes or restructuring business. I also want to preface this by saying that there are plenty of employees at the Cardano Foundation that are doing a great job and they don't need to feel belittled or they don't need to feel like they're doing anything wrong. Maybe it's just adding additional resources or changing some kind of structure or process that they have in place. One of the things that drew me into this project to start off with is I sense that IOHK is about their business. And what do I mean by that? They have created several successful cryptocurrencies. They're working on ETC right now, Ethereum Classic. They just built that Mantis client. They know how to run a cryptocurrency business. And why do I think that this is important? It's because there are certain projects out there that they may have good tech, but their business is not sound. So you can have great tech, but if you are not business oriented, you will A, run out of money, or B, never get the message to the people that really need to get the message. Once again, I think that Charles, the way he's approaching this is from a business mentality. He really wants Cardano to be the top, and you can sense his passion. In yesterday's or the day before's Periscope video, he was referencing the $600,000 that was spent to audit code for the Cardano project. And basically the Cardano Foundation is auditing this project, but the code he was referring to is old code. So he was saying that why are you auditing old code when all that old code is going to be scrapped and we created new code and we refactored the old code, and shouldn't you be auditing the new code or maybe managing the money in a different way? And he makes a very valid point. The idea that Charles Hoskinson, who probably will be is extremely wealthy right now and probably will be even more wealthy in the future, is pinpointing little discrepancies within this business, like $600,000. And I know it sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, IOHK probably has hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in their disposal. So to be pinpointing little things where money's just flying out the window is beautiful. In business, you have to be able to trim the fat, trim the excess, and make sure you're as lean as possible. That ensures sustainability. No matter what Charles says about the future of Cardano, if they run out of money, if they can't pay bills, if they're spending money where they shouldn't be spending money, they're going to run out of money and the project won't complete what it's supposed to complete. There have been plenty of ideas throughout history that have just not made it just because of mismanagement and misappropriation of funds. So I think that this is a great quality that Charles is displaying. The idea that Charles puts is completely open about what's going on and is letting the community know, shows what his true passions, what his true beliefs are for this cryptocurrency and how he wants it to change the world. If you run a small business, if you run a medium-sized business, if you run a large enterprise, you have to make sure that you trim the excess and you have to make sure that you appropriate funds to where they're supposed to go. You can't be leaving money on the table and you can't be losing money. You can't be losing money. There are so many companies that are just they become so big. They grow so big and then they just start losing money. So when their revenues decrease, they're going out of business. And while they could be a profitable business if they stayed on a certain process track for spending money, they don't, and then they lose the money. So I think that Charles highlighting this really shows exactly how dedicated he is to the financials of this cryptocurrency and where money is going. Transparency is key, especially in a cryptocurrency that touts itself as a cryptocurrency that's going to eventually become extremely decentralized. We need to have transparency. And one thing that you can look forward to is the idea that when the Cardano project is handed over to the community, and when things are more, when governance is in, these are the type of issues that we're going to be voting for. We're going to have a say in what's going on in the community, how funds are being spent in the treasury, who's kept on board. And once again, I think that Charles is doing a great job with this right as of now. To be fair to the Cardano Foundation, they've responded, and I think they're going to be releasing more stuff in the coming days or the coming weeks. So we'll see what they say. But maybe they have plans and maybe they're working behind the scenes. We don't know. We don't know. As of now, we don't know. So I can't speculate on them not doing work or not auditing new code right now because they haven't released exactly what they're doing. So that being said, we're going to move on to the second point. The second point is the idea of community. Charles speaks on it often. We're trying to be the next financial system for the new world. We're trying to be another financial system, and we're trying to be a large financial system. We're trying to include the 3 billion plus people that are unbanked inside this ecosystem. And if we're going to do this, we're going to need a much larger team, and we're going to have to have representation in various areas. We're going to have to make sure the broader community is as included as possible. You know, the tech is great. The high level work, the academia is great. But at the end of the day, when the project is released, it's not going to be used by solely academics or solely high level engineers. It's going to be used by everyday people. And those everyday people need to be represented in the system. So if we're planning on spreading our roots to Africa and working with unbanked populations in Ethiopia and various different countries, we need to make sure that we're represented there. We need to have we need to have people that represent that area inside the foundation or inside the ecosystem. I'm not saying so much the foundation. Maybe they have different goals. If we're using a Haskell course in Barbados, what Charles was saying with the Haskell course in Barbados, shouldn't we have some representation in the Caribbean who's speaking on behalf of what's going on in the Caribbean? Shouldn't we be represented in South America and Europe and Asia? We need broader roots. We need to be represented in Japan and China and South Korea. There's so many different places, and even here in the States, we need to be more represented. We need to have more meetups. We need to be more of a symbiotic community. There are other cryptocurrencies that exist right now that are doing a great job. Their tech may be inferior, but you can't take away the idea that they're building a community. And at the end of the day, if we want people to use our cryptocurrency on a broad scale, we're going to need to enhance that community. Otherwise, you know, we're going to be successful, but we're not going to be as successful as we could be. Because at the end of the day, yes, we have Cardano here, but you know, there's also Dogecoin over here. And if that gets more media coverage, if that has more meetups, Dogecoin will always be used more than Cardano. I mean, the market cap doesn't say this at the moment, but what difference does it make? If no one knows about this project, or if the people that are supposed to know don't know, then what difference does it make? And Charles is doing a great job. I mean, as a CEO, he's going all over the world and he's really planting those roots down. But at the end of the day, he's one person. He's one person. So no matter how smart, intelligent he is and how eloquent he is as a speaker, he can only do so much within a 365-day calendar year. We need to have more roots. We need to have more roots. That's a given. That's a given. And I noticed that, you know, and Cardano is my favorite project. It is my largest holding. I am most bullish on Cardano. I want to be inside this ecosystem, but I recognize that we need to do more in these particular areas. So that being said, leadership is important. I'm glad that Charles is the leader of this cryptocurrency at the moment. And, you know, I hope that he stays on for as long as possible. And I hope that when it gets handed to the community, we vote him back in, we elect him back in, because these are the type of go-getters that we need. You can recognize how much sacrifice that he's doing. I mean, he's gone the entire year, and I believe he has a family, and he is working as hard as possible to build this dream. And it's not just his dream, it's our dream. That's the difference between cryptocurrency and a regular business. All of us are stakeholders here. We're literally building. Everyone is building. If you're part of the project, if you're holding ADA, if you're excited about this, you are building. You don't have to be a software engineer, or you don't have to be coding in Haskell to feel part of this project. We're all part of this project, and we need to all feel part of this project. That being said, let's build a community. Let me know your thoughts and concerns. I'm going to continue following this, and once again, I'm going to link Rick's video down below. And these are just my initial thoughts. We need more representation, but as far as financial documents being more transparent, that's good as well. And the fact that Charles is not letting money go, not letting money off the table, or he's not being frivolous with expenses, really goes to show me that this project is long-term. And throughout this entire debacle, this little friction that we have, my conviction of Cardano is already 1,000%. It probably went to 5,000% after this. Just the idea, the thing that sold it to me was this idea of financial transparency and not letting money just waste or just throwing money away, because it's just not good business principles. They shouldn't be letting a dollar slip, because the thing is, $600,000, yeah, it's a lot of money, but probably not a great deal of money for IOHK and these companies that are handling hundreds of millions or maybe billions of dollars. But at the same time, we need to figure out that little mistakes that you make here lead to larger mistakes further on, later on. So when we're looking at this, we need to understand this. As a small business owner, you could make these small mistakes, like, let's say you are overpaying for cleaning supplies by $50 a month, and you're just doing it frivolously. And while it may not seem like a lot, those little mistakes add up over the years. And those also lead to larger mistakes. So when you have to make more high-level mistakes, then you're leaving millions of dollars on the table. Because what's the difference between something here and something here? There's absolutely no difference. If you're going to waste money here, you're probably going to waste money here. Let me know your thoughts and concerns. What are your ideas? What do you think the foundation can improve on? What are your thoughts? And once again, this is not a shot at anyone in the foundation. I don't know anyone personally, but I think that they're great. What I've seen in the forum, it seems like everyone's doing a great job, but there seems to be some sort of disconnect, and it's obvious by the recent friction. But let me let you know that if this is the worst problem that we're going through right now, it's nothing. It's nothing. Cardano is coming. I'm more bullish than ever. This is not financial advice. Like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next video. Thank you.